Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everybody out there in podcast land. How are you today? Y'all know who we are, Team Tates. I'm Maurice Tates, also known as West Baltimore Party Marty. I am the person that talks to everybody in podcast land.
You're the moderator.
Moderator, I was searching for the word. See, I played that off. I'm smooth with that. I call that the segue.
Hmm.
And the person that you see, which is to my immediate left, is my lovely wife, Cece. Good morning, Cece.
Good morning.
She's also our current events and the engineer or the leader of our tribe. Today, we just like to thank y'all once again for allowing us into your home. We apologize about our schedule, back and forth, up and down. This is not how we do. But we were on vacation. We came back. We had some catching up to do. And without further ado, we're praying group. So we're going to get into our prayer real quick and go from there. Prayer start. Father God, thank you for the wonderful things that's going on in all our lives. Father God, we thank you for touching us, waking us up today into life instead of eternity. Father God, we always pray for those persons over there fighting those God-forsaken wars, losing mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, losing limbs, losing sights, losing homes, losing relationships, losing their way. Father God, please keep them close in your bosom. Please help get them through this. And may we all appreciate the veterans that do these things for us. Father God, we always make sure we have a special prayer for everybody's dealing with this God-forsaken pandemic. And Father God, please, we are doing a lot better. And I mean a lot better with shots. They're getting out there. We're into the second shot. We're into the booster shot. We're doing a lot better. But God, we still need your help. Please help direct us. Father God, we always make sure we keep a prayer in there for what's going on. And they're even labeling sometime in the days phantom, disease, pandemics, tornadoes, floods, hurricanes. The largest wildfire in the history of the world is burning in the coldest region at this time. Father God, please, we need your help. Father God, we're always in these things right now with a moment of silence for persons that aren't here. Moment of silence starting now. Amen.
Amen.
Cece, how's everything been going since I seen you? Good?
Everything is great. Got a little cold, but if that's my worst problem for the day, I ain't got no problems.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Everybody knows who that is. That's Dr. Sutton. And the reason why we call him Dr. Sutton, not because it's a nickname, because he's a doctor. He has a PhD. So for the persons out there in the world, I always tell y'all about this doctor and make a big deal out of this, but I do. His name is Dr. Sutton. I kick it with him. He's literally in my family through marriage. You know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff like that. And I call him Ted at times. And most of the time I try to give him his government name. His government name to me is Doctor. He's earned it. Stop thinking that all doctors are tobacco chewing white people or a wonderful person named Billy Jim Bob is walking around and it says on their tag to make sure they call them that. Y'all make sure that you think out of the box. Give people their titles and respect where they do. That gives me my segue. Dr. Sutton, Mr. Alan Meacham, who is a big member and supporter of the great James Mosier Little League organization out of West Baltimore. To the persons out there that don't know who the, uh, excuse me, I'm a little caught up. This was a good man and one of my mentors. Don't know who James Mosier is. James Mosier is the oldest surviving Black Little League organization in the country. Let me give it to you one more time. James Mosier, right over there on Bentlow, off Bentlow on Winchester, Wheeler, Riggs, wherever you want to call it, that little area that field y'all see across from Winchester Apartments. It's actually, the school is now named Billie Holiday Elementary, but it's been James Mosher forever. I personally went there. I played Little League there. I was 9 years old on. I've been a member, been a coach, active on the boards and what have you, held positions. But James Mosher is the oldest surviving Black Little League organization in the country. Hands up. We have a gentleman that lost his bout, is in his 90s. His name is Mr. Alan Meacham. Today, he'll at Martha's Funeral Home from the hours of 2 to 4. They will be doing his viewing, and
And that's,
I'll be there.
excuse me, y'all, that's March West, not East. It's March West, 4300 Wabash Avenue.
4300 Wabash Avenue. If y'all want to see what heroes look like, y'all want to see what some heroes look like, stop by there. See some of these volunteers. You want to see what a hero looks like, stop by there. See some of these volunteers, people that come out to pay tribute to great men, to this great man. You'll see a bunch of celebrities and who's who's. You want to see what a hero looks like, look to my right. That's Dr. Ed Sutton, West Baltimore guy that brought himself up out of the mud, went on, continued his education until he could actually be called this prestigious title as a doctor. I'm going to tell you about my time with James Mosher. I played there. Shout out Eric Davis and Joseph Cook, who brought me back to coach there. I won a championship there with my grandson. I was instrumental in organizing and putting together the first T-ball organization in James Mosher, because my kids weren't allowed to play because they were 2 years too young. But these kids, my grandkids and them, was from the neighborhood. They played every day. So they couldn't, the insurance wouldn't allow them to be on the field. They was too young. So we started T-ball. And that's when I was really, not saying introduced to Mr. Meacham. I knew who he was. But that's when I was actually put Mr. Henson, Toby and them's father, Mr. Henson, helped participate in raising me, who was the one that turned me on to Mr. Alan Meacham. He said, I just need you to go by his house, just talk to him a while. Let him find out what you're trying to do with this T-ball thing, because it's not that easy. And maybe he can give you some insight. Well, Mr. Henson set me up, Doc. You know what I mean? Once I got around this great man and I was in his house and he was showing me memorabilia and we was talking, I wanted what he had to offer.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted what he had to offer. He had
That's
so
right.
much knowledge. He has so much knowledge. When you sit around Doc trick you. Doc come off, talk to you, kick it and all that kind of stuff like that. He don't try to ostracize you or show that he got all these pieces of paper and degrees and use big words over top your head and everything like that. He trick you. He get you alongside him, you know what I mean? You put your guards down and all. And then later on, you start getting around these hitters and stuff like that, and these influential people, and you start seeing how they carrying them. And then you start saying to yourself, wow, I mean, is that who he really is? Then you forget all about he's a doctor. You forget all about he's a doctor and just see him as a man. He's a man. And then later on, a few conversations and a few people bring you back to remind you. He has a PhD. He's Dr. Ted Sutton. You know, this is what you do. This is what Mr. Alan Meacham did to me. You know, Michael Singletary is one of the persons that I coach with and a good friend of mine. I hang with, drinking buddy. We drink beers and stuff together. So I include him with a whole bunch of stuff. Mike Smith and his lovely wife. I include him with a bunch of stuff because that's my James Mosher. But Mr. Alan Meacham, 1 year out of being removed as the founder of the organization, I believe the organization was started by four or five people, and started maybe 60, 61 years ago, and he came in a year right behind us. So he's been there forever. He's the oldest surviving member there now, but he's always been part of it. He's held every position there was. And without further ado, before I start, I'm gonna give it to you in layman's terms how I know it as being a shortstop, all-star, by being a championship winner, the Cardinals. Shout out Mr. Rob. I'm gonna let you hear Just a small snippet, a snip of some of the prestigious things this man has done, who he is. His son, I'm sure teary eyed, Alan Meacham Jr., wrote his obituary, and I read a little bit of it, and my wife is going to read it to you now. At this time, y'all, I want y'all to pay homage to a good man and just listen at a few of his accomplishments. Open your hearts. You know I'm a cry. You know water comes out of my eyes, so that's me. I want you to open your hearts and open your ears to these accomplishments. CC,
Okay. Um, Mr. Allen McKinley Meacham Sr., February 17th, 1926 to November 24th, 2021. On Wednesday, November 24th, 2021, the heavenly angels called home to rest Allen McKinley Meacham Sr., a beloved father, grandfather, great grandfather, brother, uncle, cousin, and mentor and friend. With gratitude in our hearts for the time the Lord allowed us to share his life, we set aside this day to celebrate. He was the third of four children, born to the union of the late George Sr. and Sadie Meacham on February 17, 1926, in Aiken, South Carolina. Sadie passed when Allen was 5 years old. George Sr. later married Miss Thelma and completed the family with the birth of his sisters, Salitha and Cassandra. Allen received his formal education in the public schools of Aiken after completing his military service in the United States Navy in 1945. He then attended Hampton Institute University, where he received his degree and met his future wife, Irma Ann, then married and settled in Baltimore, Maryland, where they made a life together and raised their son, Allen Jr. His love for his alma mater was evident in his annual road trips back to Hampton's homecoming weekend. Allen was an emeritus alumnus of the Home by the Sea. Allen's professional career in education was with the Baltimore City public school system. During his career, Allen was a teacher at Paul Laurence Dunbar Senior High School, where he taught vocational studies from 1954 to 1976, always believing that his work was to try to make good citizens and not just good students and athletes. Allen heeded the calling to become an administrator, serving as assistant principal at Calverton Junior High School from 1976 up until retirement in 1983. His leadership, both in and out of the classroom, led to his being held high in high regard within the East Baltimore community. Outside of his love and commitment to family, one of Allen's greatest passions that brought him tremendous pride was his membership in the James Mosher Association, an athletic organization in Baltimore City which provides community support and athletic opportunities in the sport of baseball for over 60 years to thousands of children. He was a founding member of the organization and has held various roles within the organization during that time, including coach, manager, president, and commissioner. Allen's faith was a key component of his life. He was a member of Sharon Baptist Church for over 60 years and served his church as a member of the usher board and as a church trustee. Always known as a snazzy dresser, Allen was once referred to as Pretty Shoes, and this nickname stayed with him throughout his life. His attention to detail and all that he touched was his trademark. As Allen joins the gathering of family who passed before him, it includes his wife Irma, his father George Sr., his mothers Sadie and Thelma, his brother George Jr., his sisters Maritus, Marcel, Salitha, and Cassandra, sisters in law Zemma Meacham and Mary Johnson, and brother in law John Eversley, Michael Menifee Sr., and Harold Ray Johnson. He leaves fond and precious memories to be cherished by his son Allen Jr., wife Deborah, two grandchildren, Persephone and Jason, two great grandchildren, Lonnie Jackson IV and Jasmine Meacham, nieces and nephews Sharon, Orr James, Lily Michael, Sonia, Mary, and Michael Jr., devoted friend Ernestine Tina Jennings, and a host of cousins, other relatives, friends, and extended family, including the Freeman, Willis, Joyner, Minson, and Jennings families, who affectionately call him Grandpa, Big Al, Mr. Meacham, Dad, or Mr. Al. Allen is leaving a void which will never be filled. His imprint will never be erased. His love will always surround us. We can all find our solace in knowing that our paths will meet again in the future. We know that our minds will be filled with instant recollections of his presence, especially when we have a good meal and intense conversation. So today, with love, we celebrate the completion of his task. Rest in peace, Dad.
Thank you
Amen.
very much, PC. Amen. On that note, y'all, we're going to honor this gentleman with a quick 20-second moment of silence, starting now. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Rest in peace, Mr. Meacham. Hey, you know, that's my topic today. Footprints. What did you leave? What can you say you are? Where are you at this particular time? Pastor Rhonda says it all the time. What if God came to your house today? Would you be ready? What if God came to your house today? Would you be ready? That's a heck of a question, Pastor. That's a heck of a question. Would you be ready? What is your footprint today? Are you just a regular cat out there? Are you a regular husband that has 10 side pieces? Are you a regular dude out there that just got a regular job? Just go there, do your 9 to 5. You ain't the supervisor. You ain't one of the better workers. You're just somebody to go to work. Are you the Lyft driver that doesn't open somebody's door? Who are you? Did you work at your job till you retired? Or did the white man get on your nerves every day until when you get up in the age you don't collect Social Security? I mean, who are you? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you about a little story that I didn't know. I always bring up my conversation with my wife. And remember, we're podcasters out here to help people. Sometimes we tell our dirty laundry out there to air it out. See, me, I can say what I want because right now, if you see me running down the street and somebody chasing me, and you look back and say, man, that party a chump. Somebody else out there going to say, yeah, Jack, but I seen him fight 100 times. They ain't going to know me as that one time I ran. I still get that 100 times that I fought. You feeling me? You feeling me? I'm telling you what I know. They're not going to know that Party Marty water comes to his heart and comes out his eyes all the time. These are things that everybody won't know. Doc and I can speak to this from our end. Cece can speak to it from her end. Let me tell you something. Cece knows that I don't watch scary movies. I'm going nowhere to get scared. I want to be scared. I walk up and down West Baltimore with $100 bills coming out of my pockets. Be scared like that. I don't watch scary movies. Man told you keep his name out his mouth. Now, Candyman, one more Candyman. He
He told you keep his name out your mouth. You want to know why Candyman chased you around? You said his name 3 times.
Right.
Keep his damn name out your mouth. You ain't got to worry about me hollering Candyman. You know what I mean? You ain't got to hear what they saying. Beetlejuice said 3 times. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. I ain't gonna say it 3 times and want to know what happened to Beetlejuice. Why he up there chasing me around and running night? You gotta figure out what is it that makes you feel good. What is it that makes you feel bad? What is it that makes you happy? What is it that makes you cry? How long do you have to work for you have enough to pay your bills? If Dr. Ted walked up there on Park Ice to tell him stop fighting, and he went down the street, and you stand there and let him sit on your step fighting, and you live on Park Ice, what part did you play? Are you the solution or are you the problem? Mr. Alan Meacham jumped out a plane without a parachute and hit the ground with both feet running. Did you hear some of them numbers? He was in the service in 1946. Not only was I not born in 1946, my parents hadn't even met. My mother and father were in the war that he was in. Shout out to the late, great Catherine Tate, the oldest, who died, the oldest surviving member of the Waxing Wave, the first set of women to go to war. My mom, mine. My father went to war, mine. My brothers went to war, mine. Did I go? No, I did not. Do I feel like that's a black eye? No, it is not. Because I did some things that I was good at. Wasn't good at going to war. Wasn't good at taking what do they call? That's the best word we can use it. Directions. I wouldn't be good in your mob. I wouldn't be good in your gang. I wouldn't be a good Crip or Blood or MF-19 or Black Gorilla. I wouldn't be none of that. Who are you talking to? I'm the captain. I don't give a damn who you are. Who you talking to with that slick voice? Watch your tone when you're talking to party. I don't know how to be them things. What's your mark? What's your mark? Let me tell you when I go. Ask Tawny and Corey about me. My grandkids. Ask Malik. Ask Antoine, rest in peace. Ask them. Yesterday I went over there and my wife looks at me and just shakes her head. Our money a little funny now. Till summer gets back here. We stay afloat sometime because I ain't going to the bank and take out all my savings. I ain't going to do it. I ain't eating steak today. I'm eating bologna. I'm an ex-dope fiend. I'm more afraid of being broke than I am of being dead. I ain't going to be broke no more. When you put money in the bank, that's what it's for. It's for the bank. And for you to keep running back and forth. Your checking account is to use the right checks. Savings account, the root word of saving account is what, y'all? Save. Save something. Every time something comes, you're going to take all your money out. You're making bad decisions. I'm going to have my footprint out there. I'm going to be known as something. I'm going to be known as the best great-grandfather there was. My wife know what I did yesterday. Nobody had to give me a pat on the back. Went by my kids' houses, but I do all the time. My wife will always say, Bob Barker. When I come over there, we got some cars and stuff. I give away a lot of cars because I got extra cars. I give it to people in need that need a car. Cars are no longer a luxury, y'all. It's a necessity. If you out there and your granddaughter's getting back and forth in the cold and stuff like that, and you got a spare car that you ain't even using. The people came today, CC. What they come for? They came to take the car to the shop. You know what I'm getting done to it? What am I getting done to it?
The monster switch.
I got to put monster switches on some of my vehicles. A monster switch is a thing like on a battery that you can disconnect or connect. Disconnect or connect. You want to know why? Because I never drive them. They sit there so long. When I finally go to use them, the battery's dead. Because they spare cars. Because of my addiction, I wash cars. That's what I did. It was in Peachtree. I was an ex-dope fiend, jailbird crack addict. So I washed cars. So ever since then, I told whenever I get myself right, I was going to have the nicest cars on the strip.
That's right.
Yeah, my wife got a brand new 2022. We in 21. Got a Jaguar, got a Range Rover. I wanted something nice. So I know I hoard stuff, but I know what it's like to lay on the ground and wipe everybody's car for $5 or $3, or you tell me your tires ain't shining enough. And I wipe them and give them my black magic. And I said, if I could ever get off these drugs, Jack, I'm gonna have the slickest cars out here. So I started buying. I ain't buying Lexus and all of y'all think it's slick. I started buying Lincolns. Started buying Jaguars when I started getting money. You feel me? I'm telling you my story. Because I wanted to do something and be something. I ain't Doc. I ain't gonna never have a PhD. I ain't going back to reading no books. Ain't got no pictures in it. Going back to school for no 10, 12 years. Are you crazy? My wife reads ketchup bottles. That is her claim to fame. What you doing? Reading. Taking your hair out, reading. Got you taking your hair out with one hand, reading with the other. That's all she do is read. What's that claim to fame? Let me bring this home. Mr. Allen Meacham is known for being one of the founding fathers of the oldest surviving Black Little League in the country. Mr. Allen Meacham. Run tell that. Dr. Ted Sutton was known as Crazy Ted that ran around with a leather, a lambskin, or a fur, because up under it was what, Doc?
Sawed-off shotgun.
Sawed-off shotgun. When you start talking about these folk heroes and stuff like that, Lil Melvin ain't somebody that's a person that's up there that you put on a pedestal of you, Doc. Who's Lil Melvin to you, Doc?
That's my godfather.
Just his godfather, just a person, just a man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dr. Sutton is a PhD, card-carrying doctor. My wife, no matter what anybody else thinks, when we lost our sponsor on our podcast, my wife picked up that pad, picked up that computer, picked up that pen, and invented this podcast as an engineer. She invented it. She did it. She runs it. Puts the colors together. She puts the sponsors up. She pays the bill. She does that. She will always be known as that. She'll take that with her. Last part. What will you be known for when you leave? What is your legacy? What is your time? You know what it says in the Bible? In the beginning, it was the word. In the end, it was the word. The earth will be gone. All of us will be gone. Everybody will be dead. The dinosaurs are gone. It'll explode. In the beginning, there was the word. In the end, there's the word. That's all that'll be left is the word. All that you have to show is your legacy. What you were. What do we know you as? If you were a piece of shit, you could be known as a piece of shit. That's the last thing that we'll ever talk about. We called you Stinky. You may have don't stink anymore, but that's your nickname, Stinky, but you can change. Doc tells about it all the time. And I'm gonna let Doc go next, because this is what I do. I have my segue in. This is a time now for Dr. Sutton to tell you about one of his many groups. People can change. So I want him to tell you about people can change. I pride myself in changing. I evolved. I got better. I want to go off and somebody read some of them nice things about me like they're reading about Mr. Meacham. I don't want to just be, I'm not standing up for the next 30 years. Hello, my name's Maurice. I'm an addict. I'm not an addict anymore.
That's right.
2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he's a new creature. That person is dead. I'm not an addict anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an addict anymore. People can change. Mr. Allen Meacham evolved. He took time out over there at James Mosier to grab a bunch of little, I ain't gonna say underprivileged, because wasn't nothing underprivileged about me. We were just troubled and bad. Baseball was the vehicle that we used over there for a mentorship for James Mosier to get you out there, to get you closer to some of these men. Some of these men. That's all. Now, I want to give you another cause. I want to give you a cause now with somebody that's out here who changed himself, who's no longer Crazy Ted with the shotgun. Don't get it twisted. I'm sure he still got it. Don't make him go find out where it's at. May have to dust off the shells, but still work. But I want you to listen to somebody that's going to tell you about something right now. It's not too late. It's not too late. Here's a man running the organization. He's going to tell you what it's called, and he's going to tell you what you can do to help him or change what you're doing. Dr. Ted, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, and I appreciate even the platform. I would just say I think your segue was definitely moving, to say the least. I really do believe. I mean, because you know what? Sometimes we can get caught up in some of our youth. They glorify sometimes the wrong things, and you know, so it don't matter what Lil Wayne's integrity was, as long as you know he put all them records out and he made all of that money. And so you got people that they just want to be like him no matter what, you know. And you know what I'm saying? And we talk about somebody like Frank Lucas, so we don't really, you know, oh yeah, he was a gangster and we want to glorify, you know, being a gangster. To me, a man like who you just spoke on are the real heroes. They are the ones that you know what, when you can be a civilian and make it look cool.
Yeah.
You know, and you can just be, you know, manly. I really respect that. You know, I really respect it, because even though that I went through my life in the streets and wanted to carry big guns and wanted to be known in that area, I have the utmost respect for that hardworking man that rode the bus home to put food on the table. And see, a lot of times, to me, because we lived in Baltimore, I really just didn't want nobody to mess with me. And so I ended up saying that I had to make some examples out of people, because I don't want to go through this every day. I don't want to beef every day. See, people got to understand that when you've seen war, you don't want war. It's only the people that it's like a social media or television movie type war thing. They the ones that want to glorify war. You know, that one I'll put down I'll lay somebody down in a minute. I'll do this, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yeah, but can you take care of your son? Can you be there for him every day when he coming home from school? Can you teach him how to drive the right way so the streets won't teach him how to drive a stolen car?
Oh, man.
Can you be there for him for his graduation, saying, son, you had some teachers that didn't like you. Some of them didn't want to work with you. And some of them just didn't like you because of the color of your skin. But you made it across that stage, son.
Oh, man.
And see, to me, that's the stand-up guy. That's what you call a made man. Because a lot of this stuff, man, it's unfortunate, to be honest with you, when we have so many guys that were gangsters, and we can talk about all of the furs they had and the mink coats and all of the stuff. But can you have somebody like what you just did talk about how great this man and how he changed your life individually? Not even dealing with the hundreds that he did touch.
Right.
But just saying, you know what, I'm gonna make this personal. He changed my life.
Wow.
And so I got a couple cars, and you know, I got a couple things, but to be honest with you, if I can have some people that come back later and can say, man, that man, Mr. Ted, man, helped save my life. That man, Mr. Ted, man, he actually helped save my life. He helped change my life. He was an example for me of what a man should be. You know what I'm saying? And I know he mentions what he used to be, but but the exclamation point is on what he became. That was the end of the sentence. You can never judge a book by the first chapter in the book. You gotta judge it. You gotta take it all the way to the end. So it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. And so when you know, I mean, to me, I think that that's amazing to honor a man such as this, because those two numbers of the date of birth and the date of death, the only thing that matters is the dash in between. And when your dash can stand out above just surviving, trying to make sure you okay. Because see, that's what most people doing. They just trying to survive. They just trying to make sure they good. And as long as you don't mess with them or their children, they don't have nothing to do with nothing you got going on. But for somebody to step outside of that circle and say, I'm going to give some of my finances, some of my time, and some of my wisdom to somebody because I want to see somebody else's child make it, that's a hero.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Yeah, Doc. That's just so true, man. It's just everybody out here, we all out here with some ulterior motive now. We all try to make sure our friends and families okay. Nothing wrong with that. True. But somewhere along the line, man, you gotta leave your footprint somewhere. CC, comment on this topic.
I mean, I couldn't agree with both of y'all anymore, because the main thing that, you know, it's so sad when you look at some of these people today and you read their obituaries and all they say is they like to play video games. You know what I'm saying? You got to do something with your life. You know, you got to do something to make your mark on the world and leave something behind. And it's not up to these video games. It's not up to social media. It's not up to any of those things. I mean, we need more. That's why, you know, I often tell both of you that I admire your accomplishments, but I most of all admire the way that you stand up as a man. Because my husband often says that in order to be a man, you got to see a man. You know, they want to go around, they want to blame Brandon Scott and they want to blame what Mosley and all of these people. But the real problem with our youth today is that they don't see enough real life role models. You know what I'm saying? They don't see enough of our men out here mentoring, or our women too, because these young ladies are just as bad as the young men are now, you know. But we got to make sure that we make a conscious effort. One of the many things that I love about my husband is that he's always conscious of the fact that your grandchildren, they watching you. Your great-grandchildren, they watching you. You know, these kids are watching when we think that they're not looking. You know, and they are the future of our communities. They are the future of our world. So we have to making an investment in them is making an investment in the future. And we have to really understand that and not be so quick to judge, because at the end of the day, the problems that are going on with these young people, they are systemic. So there is a bigger problem than what lies on the surface, you know, and everybody want to lock them up and throw away the key and all of that. But that's putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. You know what I'm saying? We got to get to the root of what the real problem is. So, you know, it always warms my heart and brings tears to my eyes to see two strong Black men like the two of y'all that know y'all get it, you know, and some of these people, they just don't get it.
You know, on that note, thank you, C and Doc. Read that, please, C.
Sharice Cole said, I truly thank God from where he brought you from. May God continue to bless you and your wife. Keep on teaching and encouraging.
Sharice is really one of my good friends too. Thanks, Sharice. I appreciate that. And Doc and CC for everything. But let me tell you something. I want y'all to think about something right here. This is a pat on my back. How would you like every time when your wife gets a chance to say something out of her mouth about her husband is something positive? How would you like to be me? How would you like for my wife to say that she notices the nice things that I do? How would you like to be Dr. Sutton's wife, who has her own degree? Don't get it twisted about it. She got her own damn money. Might have more than Doc, because he always saving the world with his. How would you like to be her when she run around and say she got her doctor at home? And where's the doctor money at? Where's the doctor money at? I just got, yeah, baby. I got just now they sent me my check for $20,000, but I bought $30,000 worth of turkeys I just gave away. She just shake her head and say, good job, baby. She know what she got. She know what she got. We going to Hawaii. Everybody else going to Hawaii. They going aloha ha. He going to Hawaii. We got a gang summit. We got to talk to these people over here. They get ready to blow something up. Daddy, I thought we was getting ready to go over there and play Pokemon. We're going to play Pokemon, but first I got to go over there and talk to 6 gang members because they in Hawaii. He's still talking to gang members, see? We in New Orleans. We on sightseeing tours. We ain't in no gangs. We ain't in no summers. We ain't in no projects. We eating dinner at Mother's. You know what I mean? We at the outdoor market. You feel me? But what does his wife say? His wife turns around all the time. Good morning, family. Hey, y'all, let me get this in real quick. Hey, big cuz, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, big cuz. Happy birthday to you. Because that's my big cuz dad, the one that always teaches us grace and mercy. It's her birthday today. I ain't supposed to say this, but I'm gonna say it because I'm sure she's proud of it. She turned 70.
Hey.
First of all, when y'all figure out, first of all, most of y'all will never get to be 70, starting with me. So when you figure out something else, people say, I don't want nobody to tell my age and stuff like that. If I get 70 years old, Doc and CC, damn it, make sure you let everybody know. In a couple of weeks, I turn 65. I'm so mad that I can't have a big show-off, well-to-do party, letting balloons go and everything and stuff like that because of the pandemic. I don't know what to do. Happy birthday, cuz. But real talk, what's your legacy? I went out yesterday, and here's something else too. If it is the B, let it start with me. That's the thing that the motto I came up with for James Mosher. We use that over there. If it is the B, let it start with me. It's a man's on his knees, crouching, he's pointing, telling the kid which way to go, and you know what it means, directions. My daughters and something else too. Doc probably got the same thing, and CC too. I can say what I want about my daughter. Not Tawny as my granddaughter because she listens to the show, but the rest of them, my kids don't listen to the show. Remember what's his name? Judge Brown said that.
Yeah.
Remember Judge Brown said, I can say whatever I want. My kids don't listen to the show. They want my money. They want that, but they ain't watching the show. They ain't coming over there. Out of all of us, Doc is the only one whose family's gonna come over there and help them give out turkeys.
Right.
Gonna be over there. We come whenever I have my cookouts and stuff. Doc, wife, sons, everybody up right there with him. You know what I mean? He's fortunate enough to have a family that follows him. Mine don't. And I ain't gonna take nothing from them, but they don't. I don't care where they want to go. If you watch Obama and then Michelle and President Obama, none of their kids want to be the president or the first lady.
Right.
Nobody wants to do what their parents did, no matter how successful they are. We on a yacht, a 42-foot yacht down the harbor. Our kids probably been on our boat twice, Doc. Now, what if your parents owned a boat? Doc, you be down there having parties.
Man, I live on it.
Doing what they call they rappers too. They be down there doing what's that thing called, making videos on the boat. That thing. They don't do what your parents do. But let me say this because I'm monopolizing the show. My wife knows how I am. I was talking to my granddaughter and great granddaughter. I said, "What y'all getting for Christmas? What y'all want for Christmas?" First of all, one of them, we ain't gonna say their names because they mother man. One of them read a list that is impossible to fill.
It was so long I had to stop. I said, you can't possibly think you're getting all of that for one.
And the bad part is, she is. Mother gonna work herself to death just to give her that.
Don't y'all in West Baltimore, how many times y'all seen people have wonderful Christmases and then January you see the furniture out front on Fulton Avenue?
Right.
The kid got the G.I. Joe, the Kung Fu grip. Yes, he see the brand new bike, and then you see him put out. January the 5th, all this shit sitting on the sidewalk. But
Brand
anyway,
new bike and all.
Yeah,
everything.
the
They
GI
ain't
Joe
even
out
home.
there too.
Yeah. Hey, listen. So I'm talking to my granddaughter and my great granddaughter. What y'all getting? And they getting that. They like I want this and I want paralysis and I'm getting the Gucci bag. I'm getting that. You know they named everything there was. Hey, Rosanna, Diana.
Really?
Hey,
They named everything there was. The only thing that they didn't name any of them name is a toy. Kids don't know about toys. Christmas to them is all kind of coats, all kind of clothes, all kind of this. I ain't give a damn about no Doc back in the day. You know, Gina Lee. I don't know if she did this too, but I looked through all my stuff. Here go my leather. I don't care. Here go this my watch. I don't care. Here go my ball burn number 5. It's Christmas, baby. All I look for is them ball burn number 5. Them skates, boy.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing about no coats, no money, no nothing like that. So because I realized that I thought they was missing the meaning of Christmas, Cece just looked at me. I said, I'm getting ready to go out and get some trees. She just shook her head. Said, okay, baby, be safe, have a good time. I go out to both of my kids' houses where my great grandkids are, buy the Christmas trees, put the bulbs up out front on their trees, put them on their bushes, put the trees up and all that kind of stuff. So when they get home, they can see a Christmas tree so that they know what Christmas is. So they know what Christmas is. These kids now don't believe in Santa after they 5. Yo, ignorant mother that went off and told you, I ain't no Santa. I'm the one bought you that bike. I ain't giving this to no wonderful man. Ain't no white man gonna get credit for that bicycle I bought you. You dumbass. They don't know nothing about Christmas because everybody want their own little prestige. You know what I mean? Tell the truth. Y'all done lost Christmas and all that. I told my mother one time, I was about 11. I said, about Santa Claus. I know ain't no Santa Claus. She said, well, good, ain't no problem. You ain't got to worry about coming downstairs on Christmas. I laughed. I thought that was a joke. Guess what? You'll never hear me swear to God before. Came downstairs, wasn't a damn thing there. You'll never hear me swear to God because I know it's wrong, but here you go. Came downstairs, I got nothing for Christmas. She told me they lay our clothes out on the chair. Lay your stuff out on the chair. That's how Christmas. Everybody got that, you know. My brothers and them got some. I said, where my chair? I said, ain't no Santa Claus. He said he wasn't coming. Ain't no Santa. You feel me? 3 days later, she gave me something. But my mother was a hardened person. That's how she was. It wasn't a game with her. You feel me? My father just shook his head. Said, you ran in your mouth, didn't you? Ran your mouth, cost you, didn't it, big boy? That's all my
right,
father
Gina.
said.
She taught you a lesson. You ain't never forget it though. You still almost 65 years old. You still remember it.
I ain't gonna never forget it. So anyway, I'll let a kid be a kid. Gina, how you feel today?
I'm good.
Hey, what's the name of the play you in?
Huh?
What's the name of the play
Tell us
that you're
about
in?
your play and your show times.
Okay. Well, first of all, hi everybody in
Hi, Gina. Hey, Rosanna, Diana.
First, I want to say that. 2, I had a topic that and that's why I really am chiming in because I swear I said I just had to come on and talk about this because this been bothering me really, really bad. But the play that I'm in is at Arena Players. Arena Players is 801 McCullough Street in Baltimore City. And the play that I'm in is called Christmas is Coming Uptown. It's a adaptive version of the Scrooge Christmas Carol that we all know. But it's a tale of a Harlem landlord who, is not being good to his tenants and the people around him and so forth and so on. Okay. And he's visited by the same ghost, present, past, and future. And I play, believe it or not, the first ghost, which is his former partner, Bob Marley. So, I'm supposed to play. I'm playing somewhat of a deceased character, but I'm
Okay.
also in the rest of the play. That will run until December 12th, which is this coming Sunday. And Friday and Saturdays is at 8, Sundays is at 4. Cost is $30 per person. But if you don't make it to that, the next play is called Happy Ending. So this play is about two maids. This is a period piece back in like the 40s, 50s, where we still worked in their homes and took care of their families and so forth. Two maids, but I play one of the maids, and we just found out that the couple that we work for are getting a divorce. And we're talking about how it will impact our lives.
Okay.
I think I had discussed with you once before about there's a part 2 of that play called I can't even think of the title of it now, but it's by the same playwright, and it's about all the Black people overnight disappear.
I gotta see
So
that.
the white people wake up, and they're so used to us taking care of everything, they're just going about their daily lives. But then all of a sudden they realize they ain't seen none of us.
None of it.
And they start asking each other, have you seen? And the other one is like, seen what? He said, the niggers. Have you seen them? Any of them? And I mean, that's the language in this play. But it's very telling. It's a telling story about how dependent they were on us. Just to give you an example, and I think I discussed this with Maurice and Cece before, but it's a telling story where a husband wakes up, the baby's crying, his wife is in bed just asleep. She just like, I don't even hear the child, right? And he's like, will you get up and take care of that baby? And she's like, call Lulu. The maid, basically, right? And he's like, I can't find Lulu. She said, what you mean you can't find Lulu? Call Lulu. He said, I can't find her. Shut the baby up. She's like, that baby don't know me. And this is
Lulu's raising the baby.
We raised their children. Yes.
All of them.
We did all of that. So that's just an example. But that will start in January. I think January the 6th or 7th is when it starts.
One last question before you get into your topic. What's the last show on Sunday?
It's only one show on Sunday.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Okay, go ahead.
Right, that's the Christmas play. The one with the 2 happy ending, and the one where all the Black people disappear. That's in January. So but my topic, I had to come on here. I'm so glad Doc is here, so he can calm my ass down, cause I swear to God, this thing just burnt. Did you see the article about the cop that shot the man 9 times in a wheelchair?
A wheelchair.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I did.
Thought he was shoplifting.
Thought he was shoplifting. Wait a minute. First of all, the man was 61 years old. That's number one. Number two, He was in a wheelchair. Okay, a motorized wheelchair. Number 3, if the cop thought that he was shoplifting, you mean to tell me you couldn't subdue a 61-year-old person in a wheelchair? What kind of cop are you?
Where did this
The
happen
worst.
at?
And
The worst one.
he chased this man from all the way from Walmart. And you know how big Walmarts are. Chased him all the way from Walmart in the wheelchair to Lowe's. So you know it had to be probably about a mile and a half that he chased this man.
Where did this happen at? What town? What city?
This was in Arizona. Chased this man and kept telling him to stop. The man was belligerent. Yes, he was. He was one of them 61-year-old, angry men. He was like, well, you have to shoot me if you want me to stop. Right. And the man kept on going. Somebody told him that the man had a knife. He was headed toward the Lowe's. The cop told him, don't go in the store. He was at the door. Rather than get in front of him and block his path, rather than use his taser and perhaps just, incapacitate him, rather than shoot him in the foot, shoot.
Turn the wheelchair over. Turn the wheelchair over.
See the warrant? How about that? Thank you. Thank you. He shot that man 9 times. I want everybody that's on this podcast to go online and find that article and look at that. Yes, it's worse than George Floyd.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's
terrible.
After I saw it, I was just like this. I couldn't say anything. I said, today I am coming on here because I've got to bring it. I was upset.
Doc, comment on that?
I mean, I know exactly what she was, talking about. And to be honest with you, to see the footage, it will anger you. It will anger you, because I'm like, I see too much footage of seeing white people who are doing some crazy stuff, and they are just so patient. So patient. In fact, one time I saw one white man was threatening the officers and then jumped in their face. He ended up taking their car and driving away and everything. The whole nine. Told them, "You not going to shoot me." And so you have people who are doing things like this, but you will shoot a man that is already incapacitated. Even when you say he chased him, how did you see that chase? That chase was worse than the OJ and the Bronco. That chase, literally, the man was in the thing wheeling so slow because it was a motorized. It was
right.
the heavy.
They only go 5 miles an hour.
Look, he didn't even have it at the highest speed.
The police officer didn't even have to run.
No, he was walking.
Right beside.
He was walking, and to see that he made a judgment call to and then not one shot, not even a warning shot, 9 times.
Emptied his gun. Emptied.
I mean, that showed the level. And you know what? If he had a level of fear in him about a 61-year-old man,
yes,
in a wheelchair, a motorized wheelchair that is incapacitated and probably had mental health issues going on.
Sure.
Because that's what I'm really think was really going on. And you chose that the best line of security was to shoot all of those fire all of those shots with people in the doorway of a store. Of people in the store and people outside the store, but you think that 9 bullets leaving your firearm, supposedly going into a 61-year-old man, was the safest thing that you could do. You need to be incarcerated. You need to be incarcerated.
And wait a minute, but that's the other thing. and I don't know how true this is because I just heard a blurb of it that they're not going to prosecute him because, and I'm trying to think what the reason was. I was kind of on my way to work, so I just heard
Because of racism.
Huh?
I said because of racism.
Yeah, basically, that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. But they're not going to prosecute him because he's a police officer, and they felt that because somebody had told him the man had a knife, that he was threatening enough to be shot 9 times.
Let me be. Wait a minute, see, before you get in, because I want you to comment first on this. Let's just play devil's advocate. I'm gonna get off the subject and then back onto the subject. Think about the situation that they have with the lady officer that shot the guy jumping in the car trying to leave. Remember how they requested that the jury be called something else different. What they say one time, Dr. Other trial, they told me couldn't be called a villain or whatever.
A victim.
Yeah, they couldn't be called
a victim. Look at this one. Now, you know what they'll turn around and say? Well, the first thing I want you to make sure to say that he stole something.
Yeah.
You know, I want the jury to know that he was a thief, and he may or may not have had a knife on him, a weapon. You feeling me? To justify shooting somebody 9 times in the back. What the hell does him stealing something have to do with it? I haven't seen it yet.
When did shoplifting become an offense that you can be executed for?
I'm gonna tell you like this. In fact, I'm gonna wait for y'all to hear about this story. Wait till you hear about this one about the man named NFL player who used to play for the New Orleans Saints. You know what I'm saying? Who was killed in Alabama, and he was speeding, and they ended up arresting him. Now check this out. He actually posted bail for him actually being, for him speeding and eluding the police. He posted bail. In the time period of him posting bail, he was assaulted by the police. They gave him charges for assaulting the police. He died. Now he died. They didn't give him medical attention. But they were focusing on that as he was waiting for bail, he occurred some more charges and assaulted the police. Now, what person waiting for bail that's getting ready to get out is going to start fighting the police?
Exactly.
None. And he ends up coming dead. He just died Monday. So he was arrested Saturday for speeding. And his name is Glenn Foster. And you're going to hear about this. This was in Alabama. And I'm saying, so, this is starting to get out of hand.
It really is.
This is going to, they're going to have to deal with something because they're going to start seeing more and more unrest.
And see, with the Rittenhouse verdict, it's like they believe they have the right to kill. It's ridiculous.
CC, your segue in is how you always say that what happened is this has been a state of mind for these people since our wonderful ex-president has given them the format to just do whatever they want. Get in there, C.
Yeah, and that's one thing that our former president has done irreparable damage to the community, to the country, because just like I often say, these are people that have felt this way all along. It just wasn't socially acceptable to say it out loud. But now that he made it socially acceptable to say it out loud, then it's never ending. Every day we hear one of these stories. You know what I'm saying? But let alone they go back and Scott Peterson, they give him a retrial and take him from having been, what was it, life in prison or that, whatever it was. They went and resentenced him so that he could have a lighter sentence, knowing good and well he killed his wife. But the disparities are there. You know what I'm saying? We got to open our eyes and see these things for what they really are. Open season.
CC, what was the max time you were saying that this officer that shot the guy could receive on her
the cop that shot Dante Wright, she only facing 7 years. She on trial for manslaughter. You know what I'm saying? She not on trial
That's
for murder.
insane.
She's on trial for manslaughter.
And CC said because it's the state they in. Doc, you get manslaughter here in Baltimore, you can do 50 years. That's just like murder. But they saying, CC said the state that they're in, most she can get is 7 years.
She's facing 7 years.
Somebody, Tia, thank you. Tia, my friend who's an avid listener now, asked the question last time she asked CC on the last episode. She said, do you think that this is going to change? Do you ever think that it's going to get normal again? Do you ever think that they are going to change? That we're talking about the wonderful people to ourselves. And CC, what was your response?
I mean, I think that these cases going to trial is a start. Don't get me wrong, because we got to look at where we were and where we are. At one time, an officer would never even have to go to trial for killing somebody. You just did, and they just keep it moving. So I think that's a start, but we ain't nowhere near where we need to be. And I don't think that this is going to end. I mean, in my heart of hearts and in my thinking mind, I really, really can see within the next few years some real civil war type stuff happening, because this is happening too often. You know what I'm saying? It just happens over and over and over again. I mean, it's a start that they have in these trials, Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd and all of this stuff. It's a start that maybe they will, I can't even say maybe because it keep happening again and again, but at least may cause pause for somebody to think that they may have to go to trial. They may have, Derek Chauvin, that was a big, he didn't get the time that we wanted them to get, but in the same sense, he was held accountable in some way, but I just think that we just have such a long way to go, and I think that our former president just exacerbated this to no end.
Doc, excuse me, good point, CC. I remember Gina and CC, we were doing one of these podcasts back when the guy Rittenhouse or something, I'm terrible with names, that shot the Black Lives Matter people. I remember they were saying, I'm going to tell you, he may get off with that. And I thought they were just saying, so I said, that guy, I don't even know what y'all talking about. That's the dumbest thing you could possibly think, that all these witnesses and somebody standing there that traveled across the state, brought a assault weapon, mother drove him over there, stood there and shot people with all this evidence, could possibly get away with it. I don't even know what you and Gina talking about. And it turned out to be true.
That's all right.
I mean, when they were saying that, Doc, I was saying, I mean, he may not get much time, but ain't no way in the world he's going to just walk away. He's not going to walk. He walked away.
And you a person with security knowledge.
You feel me? That's no way. And me, I'm scared. I'm an armed security. I carry a gun 24/7. I want you to know. CC, we just answered the phone again today, right? We dealing with everything now with redoing my information and all that. They take you through so much stuff. You know what I mean? With me, with my gun. But it's ironic. A police officer, they got 2 sets of rules for them. We all just people with guns. Anything I do wrong, I'm accountable with my gun. But he's just somebody that committed a heinous crime. He walking behind a wheelchair. I'm gonna tell you what you do: flip it over.
Right, come up behind.
Can't do that. Put the brakes on. Grab the back of the chair. Flip him.
I could have kicked that man over.
Yes, right. It's just ridiculous.
5'3" South could have kicked that man over. Okay, there's no way in the world that man ought to be dead.
But and even when it came down to that whole situation with Rittenhouse, I knew he was going to get off because of the simple fact that he killed white people that were in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. That was a message to the rest of the white people that's going to get out there and march and say they support the movement and all of that. That was a message. You know what I'm saying? To let them know, you go out there hollering about Black Lives Matter if you want. This was going to happen and nobody's going to care.
Hey,
Yeah, well, you know what? And the first thing they do is what they even do with us, and that was character assassination. They brought up all of the records, so all of the men who had gotten, the 2 men that got killed had, well, all of them had, you know, some different criminal things on their record, but one of the 3 actually had a sex offense, and so they turned this whole thing into you're trying to protect a sex offender. And I told them this has nothing to do with how they lived. This had everything to do with how they died.
How they died.
And that's the key piece, you know, with all of that. But I'm gonna tell you, when he threw out the 2 things that he was 100% guilty of, which was the carrying a firearm across state line and also having a firearm under the age of 18. Those are 2 that they're not even facts to be debated. He crossed the line, and he also was under 18. He was 100% guilty of that. They threw that out. And so when I heard the judge's phone ring, and his ringtone was the same song that Trump used to for his election and his theme song in 2016, I already knew that this man was going to, you know, he started out saying, "Don't call them victims." Nobody, I've never seen a judge, you know, use his abuse of power in a way like this. What family do you tell that has a family member that's dead that says you can't even call your family member in the court a victim? That is insane. And you know what's the bigger picture is I want this man under investigation for prior cases, because if he's racist, there's some black male sitting in jail for right now because of this white racist judge.
And
I know that for a fact. They need to investigate every case he is sat on, because he is giving them more time. He is definitely adding on something to their case because he is a racist.
In contrast to the Dante Wright judge, who told them that they wanted her to include in the jury instruction all of this stuff about, you know, him trying to run and what he did. She said she will not, because she wants the jury to base their verdict on the facts of what happened. That didn't of the facts, the law as the law applies to the case.
Right.
That officer was a taser trainer. She was the one that they trained. She knows what a taser feels like. So for
it does not feel like a gun.
No, come on now, it's yellow. You know,
and it's light as hell.
And when you look at that footage, and she said taser, 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 it's 3 other officers around her. And she was holding that taser out in front of her. You know what I'm saying? It was clearly bright yellow. You didn't realize it, and nobody else out there realized, say, whoa, that ain't taser. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing. And then just because she fell down on the ground and she cried, and oh my God, I shot him and all of that. And I'm going to tell you the honest to goodness truth. I really don't think that she meant to shoot him. I don't think so. I don't think that she meant to shoot him, but he's still dead.
That's it.
But she needs to be held. But she needs to see. It's about accountability. I mean, I think it's unfortunate, but also it's about accountability, because to me, why are y'all so easily able to tase a black man? Why are y'all so quick? And that's why something that I'm actually speaking on. It's those white tears. I'm tired of seeing white tears change juries. You know what I'm saying? Because when they clutch those pearls at the top of their neck, and you see those white women tears go down, somebody goes to jail. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. And you know what? And it's not the person who did wrong. No. It's not the victim. They just had a man that actually he just did 16. He did 16 years in jail for a rape he did not commit. And check this out: the woman actually identified somebody else first. It ended up she wrote a book, made all of this money. The book is called Lucky, and then she actually was doing a Netflix film. When they started investigating, the Netflix put a private investigator onto this case, and they found discrepancies with what she said and what's in her book. They gave it to the man who had went to prison, and they exonerated this man. But they cannot give him back the 16. This man just got exonerated for a case that he went to jail and did 16 years for already. But it only came out because she was looking for a movie deal with Netflix.
And I'm gonna tell you that just like what's his name, Julius Jones. Am I correct? Julius Jones, the one that just got a fair execution. It's so many inconsistencies in that whole thing, in that whole case. And they waited until the 11th hour. They was really going to execute this man.
Yeah. And
even after they gave him the stay, they said that he couldn't go up for parole. They made that a condition of the stay, which the governor didn't even have the authority to make that a condition of the stay. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to keep this man in jail regardless. They never talked to his family, who said that he was at home with them. I mean, all the people that were witnesses were co-conspirators. The eyewitness testimony that they got didn't even match his description. I mean, it's so many red flags in that case, and they just gonna keep that man in jail.
Yeah,
because it's two legal systems. It's one for us and it's one for them.
2 points I'd like to make before I'm gonna interject real quick. First of all, this is no badge of honor that I wear about because I've been incarcerated, but I'm gonna tell you, it's a whole different world. 16 years, you can't imagine what can happen to you in 16 days in jail.
Come on now. Speak on.
You don't have a clue what life-changing situation. I remember coming through receiving. When I was in training school, I went over to training school and I wasn't no chump. They slapped shit out of party. I was locked up for 1 hour and 10 minutes coming through receiving. The boy said he was going through the line, taking everybody's watches. Back in the day, you could keep your watch. He was going through the line, taking people's watches, stuff like that. And he said, boy, give me this. Then he looked at me and said, Jack, let me see that watch. I said, well, you going to take my watch, huh? You know what I mean? And he said, yeah, punk. And he slapped me. Pow! You feel me? I kept my watch on my arm, though, Doc.
I know that.
I don't mind fighting, but I was going to keep my watch. But I'm just saying, later on, though, he got what he was coming to him after I was locked up about 23 days and ran over there to Beatty Brooks and Black and them from down there, Lexington Terrace and all. And once I realized I was in there with Bernard Presley and Stanley Johnson and all, that was the end of that. But real talk, that happened to me 1 hour and 10 minutes into going to training school. You feel me? You can be beaten, raped, molested. All that can happen to you in 1 hour. More or less 16 years. They showed that, what was that? Them 4 kids over there. Was it 4 of them over there in New York in that park? What they call Central Park 4?
Mm-hmm.
Central Park, something like that. It was Central Park 5. Yeah, when they showed that story that they did about them, all the different stuff that happened to different people. You feel me? It happens real fast. Now, I said all that being said, think about this, Gina Lee. All that Gina knows, all the Doc know, all the CC know is this boy Rittenhouse wasn't even crying. He didn't even have to even put no onions to his eyes like I did trying to get off. That was the biggest fake cry you ever seen. And it worked on. It worked on the grand jury. I just want to say, I was scared. Man, what is you doing, Jack? Ain't no tears coming out. You do notice there ain't no tears running down your face
at all.
Hey y'all, I got a funeral to go to. We both do. Gina's on our way to make sure don't nobody get hit or something like that. So closing thoughts, Gina Lee.
Man, I'm just so, just like CC said, it's almost at a state of irreconcilable difference. You know what I mean? And it's upsetting because it makes you think like it's going to be a whole nother generation before possibly things could turn around. You know, it would have to, like you say, racism is taught. So it would have to be taught to the next generation to care about one another, to do for one another, to take care of, you know, it would just have to trickle down that way. And at this point, I don't see, I mean, shoot, we can't even get adults to agree on a mask. We can't even get them to agree on a vaccine. You know, it's just, it's sickening. It really is that you can't come to an agreement or at least try to compromise, you know. So I'm just, I mean, it keeps me up at night. I ain't gonna lie. If I got bags under my eyes, that's why. Because I really am at a point where, you know, I'm almost not afraid. I ain't gonna say I'm afraid because I ain't afraid of shit. But
I know that's right, Gina.
I go out the house prepared now. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Okay. I didn't used to have to do that every time I left the house. But now, okay.
My closing thought.
If you want to,
Yeah.
but y'all out there in podcast land, save up your pennies because I might need them for bail money. Okay.
Don't worry, I gotta go for you, Gina, because they gonna give me a call for.
Hey, listen. Thank you. Listen, my CC, Gina got me laughing. I can't even concentrate. Closing thoughts, CC.
Well, I'm with you, Gina. You know, some of this stuff is just so disheartening. And you know, I get up early in the morning and I watch the news so that I can have things to share, you know. But this stuff is so disheartening. Sometimes I can't, like when that officer with those little girls who took them daughters of his and wind up, you know, all that. That kept me up so bad. I couldn't even sleep when that happened.
Oh my God.
It's just then the people stealing the bucket from the Salvation Army. You know what I'm saying? It's just so many. It's so many
things.
troubling things that's going on in the world today. So that being said, you know, first of all,
I understand when people say they don't watch the news. I understand what they're saying, but I got to know what's happening. I got to know.
Me too, because if they coming, we gotta know to be armed and ready. That's the only reason I watch
locked and loaded. Exactly. What it say? Locked and loaded. That's
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, it's just so many wicked things that's going on in the world these days. But before I get into what I really want to say as my closing thought, which y'all already know, Gina, I'm going to make a play. I'm going to need you to star in it because I'm going to make a play when all the wives disappear for my husband. I'm going to see what he going to wake up and do when all the wives disappear. When you was talking about all the black people disappearing, I said, I wonder what Maurice would do if the wife disappeared.
I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. I'm gonna need a bunch of y'all strippers and hookers because I'm gonna have them freaks running around here. I bet you that.
I'm telling you. So
I'm gonna probably be hard because
that's all right. I'm sitting up here trying to nurse this cold, and my husband, God bless his soul, he still want me to be up and present. You don't get no days off. I love him though. He keep me on my toes, so I can't complain. But
hey, let me tell you something right now. My wife do that. You know what is so funny? Because I don't never remember my wife being sick. She's not sickly. So I really don't pay no attention if she's not feeling good. And that's a bad thing. She cough all the time. You know what I mean? She may cough. You know what I mean? Something like that. She keep a little sniffle or a little cold, but she just come out every time I ask her, Gina, I say, you okay? She said, I'm all right. So I just think she all right. If you're all right, then where my sandwich at? I asked you for a sandwich 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean? Where my sandwich? And then, as Mouse would say, where the pickle? I see the lesson to tomatoes and stuff, but where the pickle? Ain't no pickle on this. I don't want it. Ain't no pickle. Hey, let me tell y'all my closing thought. Listen, I'm a segue into what Gina said and what Cece said. You know, when people go up to y'all, man, what? I'm gonna tell you something. My panel, CC, Gina, and the doctor are word advocates. They use a lot of words. I use them myself. I pick them up, interject them whenever I can, but people use words. You know what I mean? Here's a term that people use. They always say, all right, y'all stay safe out there. I'm not being smart or anything like that, but don't really say that to me. I mean, how can you be safe? Be safe. People tell us, me and Cece, we over there in Paris on that honeymoon. Oh, yeah, you got to be safe over there. Heard somebody got stabbed. You telling me that somebody got stabbed in Paris? You live in West Baltimore, they kill 500 people a year? Right. You telling me to be safe in Paris? We stay in the 5-star resort? People always say that, be safe. Tell me how you can be safe, y'all. I tell you can be strong. Gina gets up, goes over here now. She's I mean, do they call crossing guards? Crossing guards, is that your actual term or is it another title? Okay, a crossing guard. Gina's standing over there, making sure that everybody's children get back and forth across the street, doing a good job, thinks she's safe and stuff like that. The police chasing up Robbie, runs up on the curb and hits Gina. I mean, when she.
Do you remember the crossing guard that used to be in Lafayette and Wheeler?
Yes.
Miss Helen?
Yeah.
That's how she died.
Let me say this to you. This is what I was talking about. I'm shocked that you would remember that, but you got a good memory. How can you be safe? You can be strong. If Cece and I are right there, my daughter and them say, where your kids at? Oh, everything okay. Tajay and Tawana, they're in school. Well, they're in school. You think they safe? Active shooter come to school, shoot the school up. You go to work. We at Clifton T. Perkins. Everything fine. Everybody say, where's Cece at? Oh, my wife, all right, I dropped her off at work. Somebody come through there, get mad, they farm. They're going to shoot that joint up one day anyhow. But them idiots they got over there, human resources, somebody going to get mad, beat somebody up, and nothing else. Hey, shoot the job up. You tell me how you can really be safe. You can be strong. You can make a good decision. You can be Gina Lee out there and have 18 metal pieces on your keys so you can knock their brains out. You know what I mean? You can have Cece, who always end up behind me because her husband always got a gun on his side. But y'all, you just gotta make a good conscious decision to be aware of your surroundings. I'm saying this, y'all, because it's the holiday. It's the holiday. They stealing ATM machines.
Should they firing you over Zoom?
Firing you over Zoom. You got so much stuff going on.
Salvation Army bucket.
You know what I mean? Telling me that I'm fired because I don't want to write a statement on something you just saw on the camera. If you saw all that on the camera, what I need to write a statement for? We call that telling in West Baltimore. Ain't telling on nobody. I sure ain't telling on me. You said you saw something on the camera. Some of this stuff don't really make sense. So this is for the ladies and the guys. Don't go in every store and break $100 bill to get a Mr. Goodbar. My mother been told me that break some of them bills down. My wife know that. She got her money over there on one side of the pocketbook, and then in the front of it, here's my bag. I got my money inside the wallet. But when I want to get a couple dollars right here on this zipper right here, I reach in there and grab something. I reach in there, but I keep spending. I don't keep opening the wallet every time I go get some gas. My wife has very, very nice wedding rings. Very, very nice jewelry. See, you don't have to stand over there whenever you get a chance. Say, yeah, Jack, I was, You You keep doing that, somebody gonna say, yeah, look like $8,000 she got on that. She messing with Party. They can take CC, they ain't got a kidnap or nothing like that. They can just pawn her. Bring your dumb ass with me. Yeah, I'm pawning her. You feeling me? But anyhow, y'all make good decisions. When you get out your car and you go into that 7-Eleven, lock your door. I don't care if you're gone for a minute. Lock the door. They show people sneaking in your car. You get in there on that one side, you pumping the gas, you turn around, lily-dilly. You ain't looking at somebody that reached in there, took your pocketbook, or got in there in the back seat, raped and kill your dumb ass. Be aware of your surroundings. And last but not least, this is unpopular. It is sex, sex. Another word for it, as the guys call it, pussy. You to run over there, somebody talking about they gonna rape you, you gonna fight till they kill you about some pussy. Then you going home and screw your side piece, you going home and screw your husband, then you going home and screw somebody else that got you drunk. I ain't telling you run around here and let anything happen to you, but you better try to survive that darn rape. You better try to survive that molestation before you run around and die about it. Last thing, drum roll, please. If you drinking a drink and you get up to dance or you walk away for it for any reason, do not come back and drink it. If you have anything, water, soda, Mai Tai, anything, when you get up to hit the dance floor, take it with you, take it to the head, or it's gone. They're putting pills in your drink. They're putting date rape drugs in your drink. Stop thinking because you sit your drink there and I put a napkin over it and I put a straw in it, it's safe. You damn fool. If you walk away from that drink for any reason, it's gone. Drink it to the head, or whoever's sitting there that want to say you can have this. Because I was listening at the podcast, simply I'll say, I ain't even going to take a chance on it. Bartender, give me another Mai Tai. All right, y'all. Hands up to a good show. Hands up to another good show. Thank you for jumping in there, Gina
and
Lee.
Don't forget your random acts of kindness today, everybody. You know,
random acts of kindness, everybody.
Random acts of kindness. Don't forget your random acts of kindness. Do something nice for somebody. Check on somebody. Call somebody. Tell them you love them, that you're just thinking about them. But do something nice for somebody today. You'll be amazed at how good it'll make you feel.
What an awesome team. Gina, Rosanna, Dana, thanks for jumping in there on your way to work. Mama! May the work I've done speak for me. May the life I've lived speak for me. When I'm resting in my grave, oh Lord, may they all say, may the service we give on these podcasts speak for me. Hands up! Thank you for an awesome day. Gina Lee, Rosanna, Dana, Anna, be safe. CC, our engineer, have an awesome day. Kenny Davis, take us home. Now go out there, y'all, and have a great day on purpose. I'm Party Marty. That's our time. We out.
We out.